You see, I'm just giving you small snippets of some of these marvelous personalities. If you examine their lives and see the kind of depth of their experiences and the kind of variation, you see, we can all learn from all of them. Because the trials and tribulations and the way they interacted with this great master, in a way, is our trials and tribulation, because we face the same issues that they faced. How to experience God, what are the obstacles? They were facing the same issues that we face. In fact, I'm going to do now a short story about a householder disciple. I already talked about the monastic disciples, and I talked about Latu, talked about Rakhal, and talked about Narendra, Swami Vivekananda. I'm now going to just touch on the life of one of the household disciples, but we'll expand and do, there are so many very interesting personalities. I'll just give you some names like Girish Chandra Ghosh, Mahendra Nath M, the author of the Gospel of Ramakrishna. We'll talk about it in a later session. I'm going to do a session today. And one of the household disciples who is really very thrilling, just as Narendra is perhaps the king of the monastic disciples, this gentleman can be called the king of the householder disciple of Ramakrishna. So I'll just touch on this life. It's a big, look, when I studied it the first time, I'm not making it up, actually I had tears. I'll tell you why. I realized my shortcomings. To be householder disciple of Ramakrishna, the amount of dedication required, the amount of discipline required, that it becomes visible in the life of this particular gentleman, made me feel so inadequate. Means I feel I'm nowhere near. You feel that, oh, what is this? What is this? It is that dramatic. Let me do the story. This is the story of somebody called Nag Mahashay, or Durga Charan Nag. He lived in East Bengal. Again, came from a very poor family, lost his mother at a very young age. His father is nice, but a little bit mean, a little bit tough, and he carries on with his father. Now, for him to continue with his studies, they found that the only school available was 10 miles away from his village. 10 miles. So the kindly aunt said, you can't travel 10 miles, 10 miles, and we don't have enough money for you to be able to stay in this place where there is a school. We don't have the money. And the only way you can study is 10-mile travel, and it's always walking. What else in that part of the world? So he said, it's going to be difficult, so give up your study. He said, no. He was a very focused gentleman. And you know what was the most unique feature about this personality that touched me? His steadfastness to truth. He will not compromise. And Ramakrishna says, in this age, the only discipline you require to become spiritual, only one discipline you require is steadfastness to truth. If you are established in truth, everything else will come to you. Just be established in truth. It will change your life forever. And when I look at the life of this Nag Mahashay, I see that here is a man established in truth. What do I mean by this? It doesn't mean that you go into a philosophical debate regarding what is ultimate truth and try and define. No. You basically make sure that you lead a life that complies with your own concept of truth. That's all. We all have an idea of what is true and what is not true, what is right, what is wrong, provided you are able to control your life, harness your life so that you do not overstep the mark and continue to maintain what you think is truthful, that is enough. That's all it says. And yet we fail. I fail all the time. It is so difficult because in the name of diplomacy, through carelessness, you say things which you can't do. Like I'll tell you, I'll meet you tomorrow. I don't know, but I keep saying things like that. These are not right. And this Nag Mahashay was a stickler. That was a little boy, stickler. You'll soon find out how when I do the story. Stickler. So he said, no problem. 10 miles, not a problem. This boy used to walk 10 miles to go to school and walk back home 10 miles from school. 10 miles each way. Just to study. He wanted to study medicine. All the doctors turning up. Don't know, they're attracted to Ramakrishna somehow. So, and of course they didn't have money to medicine. He took on homeopathy because that's the easiest thing he can do in the village. Homeopathy, kind of herbal medicine. He learned that, mastered that. And then the father and son decided to move to Calcutta for business. So set up a little clinic there. Now this Nag Mahashay is a unique doctor, homeopath. He would treat the patient and charge them the minimum. because the cost of the herbs are this much, and the cost of just continuing for me to survive is this much. So this is my fee. He lived on the minimum. From time to time, he would find a patient who can't pay the fee. Of course, he can't pay for the medicine. Nagma said, not a problem. He said, no fee, I'll treat you for free. Does he stop there? No. This is India, Calcutta, what do you expect? He gets patients who can't not only pay for the medicine, they don't have enough to eat. So Nagma calls them to his clinic, gives them free medicine, and gives them money to buy food. Now the father is getting agitated. His name is Din Dayal. He gets agitated. This boy, what is going to ruin us. This is not the way of running business. In fact, every Lohana father will deliberately stop his son from running of Sindhi, I'm pretty sure. This is not the way of doing business. He used to get agitated, very worried. This boy is going to sell our house and home. What is he doing there? At the same time, you see, this part of the story I forgot to perhaps mention. This Din Dayal wanted his son to get married. And the son with folded hands said, Father, don't put me in hell. I don't want to marry. Father said, no. It's a very boy who listens to his father. No, you have to get married. And what's the reason for Din Dayal insisting? Because he wants to continue with the lineage, kind of a continuity of the family tree. So this is the reason why he's pressurizing him. In a way, this is a sad thing, that somehow we think that we can get eternal life if we can leave some seeds behind that continue to flourish. It is silly completely, but this is how most human beings think, that somehow they will maintain a continuity if they have a lineage that carries on. So this Din Dayal, you get married, forced him. Again, real story, this is in the village before they came to Calcutta. So he was married against his wishes, but this boy could not stand the idea of physical contact. He never able to stand the contact by a woman. Look, again, a modern youth, forget it, you stand no chance. That's why I said I felt myself highly inadequate when I saw this, when I read this story. So this is real story, you make you laugh and at the same cry and say, what to do with this boy? So he's married, his wife is in the bedroom, this guy doesn't go in the bedroom, he doesn't sit outside on the veranda even, he can't risk it. He climbs a tree and sits on the branch at night. I'm not making it up. So all nights he spent on the branch. I don't know how he must be hanging on to the tree just not to fall off. Just to protect him, make sure the wife doesn't come out and touch him, he climbs up, every night he's sleeping like that. This was going on. And then, you see, the story says, suddenly the wife died. So he said, hurry, I can come down the tree now. I wish the wife a long life, but this is what happened. But do you think Din Dayal will be happy? He said, no, second wife. Standard in India. Your wives come and go. So second wife. He forced again with folded hands, said, Father, don't make me do this. No, my son, this order. You are my son. Remember the scriptures. Obey me. Second time. But this time the wife was helpful. The first one would have knocked him out. The second one was helpful. She recognized the greatness of the soul and never bothered him, stood by him, helped him. And all was a steadfast help throughout the rest of his life. The second wife stood by. Now, during this process, while he was treating some patients, there was a rich patient he treated. The patient was very seriously ill, about to die, and he recovered. And the patient was so pleased. Normally, he struggles to get his money. Here he came with a basket full of silver coins. This is ancient India, 100-year-old India. So silver coins will be available. Whole basket offers. And Din Dayal is watching, his mouth watering. We are doing well today. And this, Nagma looked at the money and said, this is not my fee. My fee is so many rupees, some kind of trivial amount. Take the coins back. And Din Dayal is jumping up and down, you see. He sent the money away, took a few rupees, that's my fee. Thank you. I can't take more than what I deserve. See, I told you, stickler for truth. Can't do it. It just goes against my moral fabric. Can't do it. And then they are mad. I'm doing the funny story because you see the depth of this person. He said, what are you trying to do? Now you see, if you're Gujarat, you would say, bhukhe marsu, then you're going to die of starvation. But in Bengal, they do a different language. They say, what will you do? You'll be kind of naked and you'll be living on dead frogs. Means you no clothes to wear and eat dead frogs. That's the way you sustain yourself. That's the language they use in that part of Bengal. That's what I read in the book. The moment he said that, what will happen now? You will have to live naked and on dead frog. The moment he said this, I told you this guy is a stickler. He took off his clothes, went to the garden, found a dead frog and started to eat it. He ate it and he said, Father, I fulfill your wishes. I am free. You see, this is a real story in our world. This is Nag Mahashaya, unusual character. Now you see, time has come for him to meet his master. So one of the disciples, or the disciple I have not talked about, took him to visit Ramakrishna for the first time. And he sits with folded hands at the feet of Ramakrishna. Again, Ramakrishna, like Latu, he looks and says, oh dear, what have you brought here? It's a fire full of renunciation. What have you brought here? Renunciation and nothing else here. Blazing fire of renunciation. What a marvelous personality. And then Nag Mahashaya said, Maharaj, please, can you make me a monk? I would like to become a monk. And Ramakrishna said, look, you are very special. You are going to tell the world how you can lead a householder's life and yet be spiritual. I want you to continue to lead a householder's life. You will be the best example of a householder who leads a spiritual life. You will be that example. So I am ordering you not to become a monk. Stopped him. You see, Ramakrishna gave different instruction to different youngsters who came to him. So Nag Mahashaya said, you carry on. You are the perfect example. So Nag Mahashaya continued his own way. Then they are jumping up and down, and life carried on. But he was such a lovely, gentle person. He could never utter a ill word towards anybody. Even if they mistreated him, he could never say ill about anybody. And if anything slipped out of his mouth, he would pick up look, again, don't try it at home. He would pick up a stone and hit his head, saying, how dare you be nasty to someone? Why did you use that critical comment? He would hit himself with a stone. There was a story in Harry Potter or something. There was a character doing that, wasn't it? So this Nag Mahashaya was doing stuff like that. And somebody had to take the stone away from him, otherwise he'll keep bleeding. His life was like that. And you see, if, for example, he lived in a thatched hut where the roof would keep leaking every monsoon, the roof would be leaking, you would keep repairing it again and again. But this Nag Mahashaya cannot give trouble to anybody. So he would, the wife would wait. When he's gone out, she would find the roofer, come here quickly and repair before he gets back. Because he can't trouble anybody, even if you are paying him. You can't trouble anybody. So one day, a roofer had gone up and was trying to, and Nag Mahashaya came, he's doing so much for us. This is not on. He climbed up. He said, look, I will do it. You come down. And I'll make a hookah for you and have something to eat and drink. And I'll fan you. And I give you money for coming. I'll sort it out. Sorry to have given you so much trouble. So he's giving him money while he's doing his work and fanning him and offering him tea and saying sorry. You see, this is Nag Mahashaya. Can a person like that be alive? Could he have lived? Think. Incredible. This was his whole life. His mannerism was incredible. Example of a householder's life.